Second time. Oh, here we go. I shouldn't do that. That is wrong. That is wrong. The wig is somewhat, but we move. This is as good as it's gonna get because I commend all those that come on here and they are caked up, like I said, but the most you're gonna get is eyelashes, and it's not even eyelashes that have been put on properly. Like, this is as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so I'm back. No, okay, forget it. Stop, Gia, stop. Does anyone else do this? Like, just like dance with themselves? Never mind. I'm back for another episode, and yeah, if you see anything, I don't care. I am back to tell you about the time I was bitten by a dog. Me. I was bitten by a dog, and the reason why I would say dislike, hate is a strong word, because I'm not gonna lie, after it happened, for years, I hated dogs, like absolutely hated them. But now I would say dislike. Like, some of them are cute, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm even gonna put some pictures of the dogs that are cute. And then some of them, there's a time in your life where you have to ask God, like, was it necessary? Was it necessary to create these ones? But anyways, welcome. Yeah, what shall I tell you? Like, subscribe, comment, follow, share, you know the deal. I was about 9 years old and life was happy. Life was okay, you know. I was so content with getting up every day, just going to play with my friends. Like, if older me could go back, I would say to her, enjoy yourself. Like, really lap up this time that you have, because it's going to change. You're going to have to pay bills. You're going to have to go to work. You're going to have to, do you know what I mean? I would tell her, relax, like it's not a big deal. For some reason, I feel like it was the age of 6, 7, I was so determined to go to university. And I think it was because I was watching a lot of Sister, and I think there was one episode where they went to university. I can't remember, maybe it wasn't that, but I saw somewhere that I was supposed to go to university. And from like 6, 7, I was like, yeah, I'm going. So everything I did was really about getting there. And when I got there, it was the ghetto. It was it was the ghetto. But we will talk about that in another entry, because wow, I'm so glad I survived that. Anyone that you're in university now, I commend you. I don't even pass judgment to anyone that says, I don't want to go. Like, I completely understand. Sometimes I wish I didn't go, but it is what it is. Sometimes that's just the course of your life. But anyways, we're going to talk about the time that I was savagely bitten by this dog. So life was sweet. I used to just wake up. Sometimes you don't even bath, you know, no worries, no having to shave my armpits, no having to really take care of my hair. Just stepped out anyhow, just free, carefree. So anyways, I'm playing with my friends. I had a best friend at the time called Joanna. It was hot. Does anyone remember back in the days was so hot? These summers that we have are so rubbish. I remember when I was around that age, summer being summer. Like, I remember it being hot from about, I would say May till about all the way into September. Like, I remember it being scorching hot, and maybe climate change has a difference in the way the weather in Britain operates. But I remember that time it was hot. Like, it was amazing. And I never ever appreciated it at the time. But looking back, I'm like, wow, we had some amazing summers. Like, it would be hot every single day. Every single day. So we were playing. I had a water gun. I remember my mum, I begged her for this water gun and she finally bought me one. I had this water gun, so did Joanna, and we were playing. Now, there was this guy, I can't remember his name, but we're just going to call him David, because I think that was like the closest name to what I can remember. But David was A little good looking white boy, very cute. I think he had like blue eyes, dark hair, you know them ones there. Yeah, we were just playing. Like, I didn't have emotions that time. Like, I didn't find boys interesting. Took me a while anyway. Yeah, but moving on. David was cool. His brother was very suspect looking back, but David was very cool. Like, I didn't get any vibes from him, and I'll tell you why. We're doing the water fights with the guns. I ran out of water. My mum is very like, you come back in this house one more time, I'm gonna scream. She was doing nights, so I was so scared to go in and out. That time I didn't have keys, so if I wanted to go home, yeah, I had to make sure I was out for the whole day. Because I didn't have those houses where I could just go in and out, in and out, in and out. If you leave and you come back, you're ready to come back for the whole day. You're not going back out. So I was like, oh, damn. So the water ran out and I asked David to fill up my gun. Now, this is where everything was suspiciously weird. Looking back, I just wish I was a bit equipped on racism and how deep it can flow through people's veins. When I gave him the gun, he said to me that you can't come in my garden. My dog is racist. I'm 9. I'm not even sure what that meant to me. I'm not even sure I knew what it meant. I'm 9. I was just like, okay. So I listened to him. I stood outside his garden, you know, I didn't enter. I gave the gun to him and he went to fill it up. Unfortunately, I had my back towards his gardens. He had a fence. The fence was all wood. He had like a door that was on hinges. I had no idea what was behind me. So I stood in front of the door because I'm thinking I'm not in harm's way. I'm not in his garden. I'll be fine. The door swings open, and before I have a moment to process who's actually coming through that door, it was too late. It was too late. The dog comes and he bites me in the side. I'll never forget this. And I'm faced towards the door, like my back is towards the door. He bites me in my right, and he bites me. So I'm 9, I'm short, and the dog is like a horse to me, basically. I was very short at 9, and he bites me in my hip. Not only does he bite me in my hip, but he locks jaws. He locks his jaws into my waist, and I am screaming, absolutely in agony. I didn't get the time to process what was happening. Imagine you're just standing there and you have your back face towards the door. This was the biggest mistake I'd ever made, but I never knew dogs could actually open doors. And he came and he just went for me. And I'm like, what the hell is that? By the time I've processed that it's actually a dog, it's so late for my emotions to come in. It's so late for my reaction. Do you know what I mean? So as this is going on, he's like, you know, really lock-jawed in my waist. I remember it like it was yesterday. Like, this happened over 20 years ago, but it still haunts me to this day that something like that could happen because of the color of my skin. It was insane. So as he's got his jaw in my waist, I'm putting my hands in his mouth. This is not even a joke. I'm putting my hands in his mouth to pry his mouth open so that I can run. And we're wrestling for a couple of minutes. Like, he's not letting go of my waist. So I'm pushing, and at the same time I'm getting bitten by his teeth. I can see it in my head. I'm so sorry. I'm putting my hands in his mouth to just really keep it open and run. Eventually this dog gets bored. I mean, maybe he didn't like the taste of my meat and he lets go, and he literally, I'll never forget, he literally just turns around and walks back into the garden. Like, you've just ripped the hell out of me and you just turn around, almost like a cat model walk, like with his bum, walks back into the garden. Obviously I'm in pain, but I managed to leg it across the road on the other side of the pavement, and I faint. That's when the pain sets in. I remember my friend found me and I was just crying. I was wearing a swimming costume. I'll never forget. I either had like a skirt or trousers, but I was wearing a swimming costume because obviously we were getting wet, and it was just intelligence, you know? You wear a swimming costume, you get dry quicker. So I was wearing a swimming costume and I just remember seeing holes where he had bit me. My friend saw me and she was like, what's going on? What happened? And I'm explaining to her and I'm just sobbing. I put my hands around her and I'm hobbling along to her house. Her mum's just in absolute shock. She's just like, wow, like a dog actually bit you the way he did. So she's like, yeah, you got to get to the hospital. So she's literally lost the color out of her face. She accompanies me to my house. At that time, you want your mum to console you. You want your mum to comfort you, but she's African. So that is not in the house. She's like, why did you go out? Why was you there? Why? Like, do you know what I mean? And I get it. Like, looking back at it, I'm like, I mean, I could not have foresaw that. Like, I listened to his instructions. I stood outside. I did not go in the garden. I did not know my dog was going to open the door and see who's outside and say, hey, there's a black person, let me attack her. Do you know? When you're working and you've got bills to pay, you ain't got time for your child to come home to tell you that you need to go to the hospital. So I remember my mum called my dad, and I just remember them both coming to the hospital. Or maybe, I think my mum went to work, I'm not sure, and my dad took me. One of the other two, but I just remember getting some shot and them cleaning it. I remember seeing like a tetanus thing and like some water, like special water in a packet, and they were cleaning it and stuff like that, and told me to relax and everything. That was like my third encounter with racism, and I just never knew that it could be so ingrained in a dog. And it was sad because I'd already been called names. I'd already had the animal references when I was so young, and now at 9 I was being physically attacked by the effects of racism. Not only that, it's traumatized me for the majority of my life. Like, I cannot go near dogs, especially German Shepherds. One thing I fear the most is me ever getting stopped by police, because I would look so shifty. And it's such a shame that they use German Shepherds, but I mean, they're I suppose the best trained dogs. My fear is always like, I'd go to the airport or I'd be stopped by police or something and I'd behave like I was being shifty. I'm actually scared. And the worst thing that I've heard in my life is dogs can smell fear. And the fact that when they smell fear, they don't chill, they come to you more. Worst situation to be in. So I have hated dogs for the majority of my life. What I don't appreciate is when I see dog walkers and they don't know what happened to me and they're like, oh, don't worry, it doesn't bite. Oh, don't worry, it doesn't bite. I don't care if it doesn't bite. I don't care if it doesn't bite, darling. That's not the point. That's like me walking around with a python and being like, oh, don't worry, it doesn't bite. You don't know the potential. You don't know. Like, the python's cool with you, but you don't know how it's cool with me. That family never knew. Well, I don't know actually, but I mean, if you've trained it to be racist, I guess they kind of knew that what the dog could potentially do. I heard after a little while that they put the dog down. I think they were very scared about a lawsuit, but fortunately for them, my mum was so focused on going to work that I don't think that ever crossed her mind, but she should have sued their asses, because how dare you have a racist dog? How dare you raise your dog to hate black people? Like, what have black people ever done to you that you need to raise your dog to attack any intruder, not just black people? It's such an insult, because you just have no idea what I've been through in regards to dog, and you have no right to tell me, don't worry, it doesn't bite, just hold your damn dog. There should be a law in this country. I don't know if there is, I should have checked before doing this, but there should be a law in this country that you must be on a lead, and there should be a space for dogs to run free where, walkers, pedestrians like me know, okay, don't go to that area because that's where they're all running free, born free as the wind blows. So that's where I wish that we could do something about that, because this is a phobia. When I see dogs, I breathe heavily, like I sweat. I almost have a panic attack because it just takes me back to what happened. Even telling the story now is very traumatizing to go back. It's so insulting when people are like, just get over it, or they think it's just this tiny bite. No, I was with this dog for a couple of minutes trying to get his jaw off my waist. I've still got the scar to this day. I'm not going to show you my fupa, but I've still got the scar to this day of what the dog did. And if I could go back, I don't know what I would have done differently, because I felt like I complied. But how about you? You're not raise your dogs to be racist. That's where it should stop. Another thing I've learned, and I'm very disgusted to even say this, but because some dog users don't respect my phobia, I've started carrying chocolate. I'm not even joking. And mace. I've started carrying chocolate and mace. And I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that, but I need to think about myself. I don't want to get bitten again. And if I'm asking you nicely to hold your dog and you've decided you're not going to hold your dog, the dog's going to have to die. because I'm not going through that again. I know it just sounds utterly disgusting. I don't want to kill somebody's dog, but I'm gonna have to do it because I don't want to have to go through that again. There's been times when I've gone out and I've asked people to hold their dogs, or just let me pass, just hold it for like 5 seconds, let me pass, and they've got angry at me. They've got angry at me for asking that, and I'm like, this is the kind of things that you're gonna see. Not everybody's gonna love your dog. To be fair, I like the small dogs, but I heard the small dogs, their teeth are sharper. So yeah, it's gonna be a very long journey before I get there. But when and how I get there, I'm coming around. Before, when I used to see dogs, I used to cross the road, but now I'm like, I'll go in the road, or I'd move aside, you know. Now it's a bit easier, but back then it was so hard. Now I would just walk around it, but now, yeah, I still want you to hold your dog. I still want you to hold your dog. But yeah, that is the story about how I got bit in my waist. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next week. Comment, like, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for listening. Peace out. No edges.